Hey everyone, I just wanted to show off the new piece, but there's a bit to unpack with this one, so I wanted to kind of just do an overview and see if I can't use that to kind of explain the line of thinking that brought me here. This was the first in the module series, and as I've explained in other videos, this was just sort of the thinking or the thought process was to just sort of embrace the inherent novelty of using magnets as a medium to create sculpture. I think artists use novelty in a lot of different ways, but this was sort of a very formalistic way to just have a novel medium, and this was sort of built around the octahedron. You know, there's some connections to geometric math art, and I wanted to kind of just keep building on that, and so that led to the next in the series, which was was built around the tetrahedron, but incorporated not just the magnets, but used magnetic bearings, as a fastening, used the magnets as a way to fasten the bearings using the magnetism in another novel way. In addition, this piece spins, so that's sort of novelty on top of another novelty to sort of find interesting avenues into sculptural design. So that brings us to this third piece. This one is sort of the missing link between the two: octahedron, tetrahedron, hexahedron, or cube. So this one has 8 faces, this one has 4 faces, and this one has 6 faces. One of the sort of springboards for how each design unfolded was how these magnets can interact with one another or attract one another. With the octahedron, you have 8 faces, but each magnet has 3, or each module has 3 faces. And so I was able to rather easily just assign a polarity, positive, negative, to each one, and they would attract each other uniformly. Because each one only attracted 3 faces, there's always 3 adjacent faces of the opposite polarity. This one, since it only has 4 faces but 3 magnets, there's not enough adjacent faces to sort of spread the polarity around uniformly. So I had to kind of puzzle this one out. So some of these have 2 positives and a negative, and the other 2 have 2 negatives and a positive. So they only assemble in one way. And then, of course, from that, it's still not an issue to use that spare magnetism regardless of the polarity, because this is just a magnetic material. So there's 2 different threads there so far. There's the geometric principles, and then there's how to sort of exploit the inherent magnetism that's in the piece. With this piece, there is 6 faces and 4 adjacent modules for each one. So the polarity is split, 2 positives, 2 negatives, and they are able to alternate each other with the adjacent faces. So positive, positive, negative, negative, positive, negative, and they're able to join each other rather nicely. So each one is uniform. But what that presents is another interesting opportunity, because with a binary polarity in adjacent positions, I thought there might be something more that can be done with that. And if you look, there's actually 2 magnets here, and they also have a binary configuration: positive, positive, negative, negative. And inside of here is another grouping of magnets. And what you end up with, and here's the big twist, so what you end up with is a configuration where you can switch on which way the polarity is going to pull this piece. So right now, this hub is being attracted inward to the center of the piece, but if you turn it 90 degrees, it's now being repelled outward from the center of the hub. And so you can do that with all 6 faces. And so it behaves sort of like, you know, a solenoid, an electric solenoid would. It creates a linear motion. It's actually very pleasing, but it doesn't work on electricity. It's just a sort of, you know, analog principle. I don't know if there are actually switches or something out there that work on this principle, but I've never seen it. But I thought it was an interesting way to sort of build on these 2 earlier works, and so I'm pretty psyched about that. And it really has a neat feeling. And if you take the modules off, you know, you can sort of play with them independently too. So 90 degrees, it's out. 90 degrees, it's in. And these are kind of hard to hold. So what I did was made a mini version. So this is just a single module, and then this is just a little 3D printed stand, but it lets you really get a hold of it and just play with that mechanism. And so what I thought I'd do, so this piece has 30 machined parts, 72 magnets, 30 other screws holding it together. So it's a pretty elaborate piece as far as you know, build is concerned, compared to this one. This is 16 individual machine parts, but they're very simple, and then 24 magnets, so 16, 24, and this is just 8 machined parts and 12 magnets. So this takes a lot of time together, and so I thought, you know, this piece is, you know, it's going to be a little pricey for those of you out there that are interested in collecting, and I know it's a sort of an interesting mechanism. So I'm going to also call this a sculpture as well, and it'll just be the mini version of that. And you know, this is just a lot of fun to hold and play with, but this is also a beautiful kinetic piece, and I think they're both great. So I don't know. I'm just gonna put this out there and see what everyone else says. But looking forward to hearing everyone's feedback. Thanks.